Reggie White's single game sack record. Did you know that, and when did you find out, and what does it mean to you?
I didn't find out until I walked into the locker room, and I mean, I'm speechless about it because, you know, you never think that something like that is going to happen, especially on the last game of your career. But I went back to some of the guys who actually was there to help, like AJ making big plays on pass rush calls that freed me up. So I was just proud about it.
Is that in a way to go out? Is that maybe the best way to go out you probably could have imagined?
I'm going to say the best way to go out was to be in the bowl game and have a couple more weeks with my guys. But, you know, I mean, it's not bad to go out that way, I guess.
You said Tuesday that tonight would be an emotional ordeal. Was it as emotional as you thought, or how did that sack record change it?
The sack record didn't change it a bit. I came into the locker room and guys was talking about the sack record, but the only thing that was on my mind was I was just sad that, you know, my career at Tennessee was over. And, you know, I had like a little 2-second cry. One of the walls grabbed me and was like, man, it's going to be all right, you know. And I just enjoyed the time I had left with the guys.
What were you doing to be so effective tonight?
Just understanding pass sets, you know, the guards over sets. And also, like I said earlier, A.J. Johnson made a huge couple of plays on pass rushes, which all I had to do was rap and make a play. So, you know, it was a great help from him.
The record breaker wasn't just the sack; it was a sack fumble that sort of sealed the game for you down there at the end. Just talk about that exclamation point on it.
Actually, that was AJ's play right there. We called a certain play where he comes down and picks the center, and I stepped to the left and rap, and it happened to come free, and I shook his hand after the play. I was like, hey man, that's big time right there.
So Corey, you really didn't know who had the program record for sacks in the game or anything? It's a defensive end for 4 years. You never kind of looked that one up?
Well, I was told my freshman year as soon as it came in that it was Reggie White, but you know, it's one of those things where I didn't think much of it, you know, until tonight when it was like, hey, you broke the record. I'm just like, wow, like that's crazy.
No, I think it was Juwan or Daniel Hood once said that you had a really good week of practice all week long. Some guys, when it's toward the end of their career, maybe they kind of get some senioritis, but I guess with you that wasn't the case.
No, and the big thing about it was what Coach Jones was telling us all week was our senior class had to be the class to, you know, show that we can win on the road and start 1-0 for the rest of the classes to come and just, you know, be that class that kind of set the pace. So it was big for us.
Corey, I asked Daniel Hood this. I mean, you guys are losing a lot. This program loses a lot of seniors on the offensive and defensive line. It's a line of scrimmage league. Do you think those guys, young defensive ends and defensive linemen, understand what it takes this offseason, what they've got to do? Do you think you guys have set them up to understand what they need to do now?
Of course, and one of the biggest guys on the defensive line that I look up to actually is Corey Vereen, because this guy is one of those guys who, you know, he's my roommate in the hotel. You wake up at 7 a.m. He's stretching. You know, he's always doing something extra, always in the weight room. And, you know, he told me just actually a couple minutes ago, he was like, hey man, I'm coming for the record next. You know, and that just made me laugh a little bit.
You probably answered it already, but talk about being able to get to the quarterback tonight like you did, and about breaking that record.
It's just breaking the record for one is just kind of one of those things where you're speechless about. It's a blessing. You know, I never take anything like that for granted. And getting to the quarterback is just something that they work with us all week. You know, Coach Jancic, Coach Strip, they told us, you know, hey, it's finally time for the defensive line to step up and do something. So I looked to my left and right and told my brothers I was going to play for them tonight, and that they actually showed up as well.
What got into A.J. Johnson the past couple of weeks of the season? I know he kind of fell off the track in terms of getting as many stops as he did last year a few weeks ago, but in the last few weeks he seemed to really kind of play like old A.J.
A.J. finally got in his mind that, you know, nobody can stop him if he's playing his game. And, you know, A.J. is one of those guys that when he puts something in his mind, there's no telling that he can't do it. You know, whether it's running a touchdown, catching a pass, going in that quarterback, he's going to always be like, hey, I'm that guy. Come on, coach, put me in. So work for him.
You know, obviously he's a guy who's got a decision to make with the NFL after, you know, this game, I guess sometime in the next few months. How big would it be for Tennessee if he did come back for a senior season?
Great. AJ's the leader of the defense, him and Brian Randolph. And those two guys, man, they're unbelievable athletes, unbelievable guys, personality-wise. So, you know, if AJ came back, that'd be huge.
I guess to have those two guys in legit coming back next season, I mean, I guess in at least the heart of the defense. I know there's a lot to replace up front, but I mean, that would be a pretty good threesome there in the defense.
Most definitely. And legit, you know, he's chomping at the bit to get back. And so I'm excited to watch him, too.
Looking back on your 4 years here, what's going to stick out to you memory-wise when you're looking back? Is it Carolina this year or something? What sticks out to you, Corey?
The Carolina game sticks out to me. Just the opportunity, you know, just seeing different things, growing as a man as well as an athlete. And one huge thing that sticks out to me is the coaching staff from this year, just wishing I had another year with those guys, man. If I had known back then what I know now, from what I learned from this coaching staff, I feel like it'd be a lot different. But it's been a blessing these 4 years. I wouldn't change a thing.
Why was this
Last
staff
one.
different? What was different about them? Because y'all have always said, from day one that this staff is different. What about them is different?
Man, they love you. They love each other. They've known each other. They love each other's families. It's just like when you come into the team meeting with this coaching staff, it's just like it's not just a team meeting. It's your family, everybody's family. This is your brother. This is the guy that you're gonna fight for at practice today. That's a lot different. You just feel loved, and I guess that's huge for us.
So that was different for y'all, basically.
Most definitely.